Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Bismillah, alhamdulillah, wa salatu wa salamu ala rasulillah wa ba'd. All thanks and praise are due to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and may His peace and blessings be upon His last and final messenger, His family, His companions, and those who follow them until the end of times. Welcome to lesson number 216 of Tafsir al-Jalalayn. Alhamdulillah, yesterday we were able to complete verses 7 to 13 of Surah al-Qasas. So inshallah today we'll pick up right where we left off with verse number 14. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم ولما بلغ أشده واستوى آتيناه حكما وعلما وكذلك نجزي المحسنين ودخل المدينة على حين غفلة من أهلها فوجد فيها رجلين يقتتلان هذا من شيعته وهذا من عدوه فاستغاثه الذي من شيعته على الذي من عدوه فوكزه موسى فقضى عليه قال هذا من عمل الشيطان إنه عدو مضل مبين قال رب إني ظلمت نفسي فاغفر لي فغفر له إنه هو الغفور الرحيم قال رب بما أنعمت علي فلن أكون ظهيرا للمجرمين فأصبح في المدينة خائفا يترقب فإذا الذي استنصره بالأمس يستصرخه قال له موسى إنك لغوي مبين فلما أن أراد أن يبطش بالذي هو عدو لهما قال يا موسى أتريد أن تقتلني كما قتلت نفسا بالأمس إن تريد إلا أن تكون جبارا في الأرض وما تريد أن تكون من المصلحين وجاء رجل من أقصى المدينة يسعى قال يا موسى إن الملأ يأتمرون بك ليقتلوك فاخرج إني لك من الناصحين فخرج منها خائفا يترقب قال رب نجني من القوم الظالمين قال الإمام جلال الدين المحلي رحمه الله تعالى ولما بلغ أشده وهو 30 سنة أو 3 واستوى بلغ 40 سنة آتيناه حكمة وعلما فقها في الدين قبل أن يبعث نبيا وكذلك كما جزيناه نجزي المحسنين لأنفسهم ودخل موسى عليه السلام المدينة مدينة فرعون وهي منفو بعد أن غاب عنه مدة على حين غفلة من أهلها وقت القيلولة فوجد فيها رجلين يقتتلان هذا من شيعته أي إسرائيلي وهذا من عدوه أي قبطي يسخر الإسرائيلية ليحمل حطبا إلى مطبخ فرعون فاستغاثه الذي من شيعته على الذي من عدوه فقال له موسى عليه السلام خل سبيله فقيل إنه قال لموسى لقد هممت أن أحمله عليك فوكزه موسى أي ضربه بجمع كفه وكان شديد القوة والبطش فقضى عليه أي قتله ولم يكن قصد قتله ودفنه في الرمل. Here Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is now continuing with the story of Musa alayhi salam. We have now fast forwarded several years. That in the previous episode we are told that Musa alayhi salam was returned to his mother as an infant, and her mother nursed him until he was weaned, and then he was sent back to the home of Fir'aun. And then he grew up in the home of Fir'aun, through his years as a child and an adolescent, then as a young adult. And now we are in the time period of his life when he is a young adult. وَلَمَّا بَلَغَ أَشُدَّهُ وَاسْتَوَى. And when he reached full strength and maturity, آتَيْنَاهُ حُكْمًا وَعِلْمًا, we gave him wisdom and knowledge. وَكَذَلِكَ نَجْزِي الْمُحْسِنِينَ. And this is how we reward those who do good. Now here Imam al-Mahalli says that بَلَغَ أَشُدَّهُ means he reached till the age of 30 or 33. So full strength, Imam al-Mahalli rahimahullah saying, that is at the age of 33, wastawa. Full maturity, he says, the age of 40. Now that's according to one interpretation. وَلَمَّا بَلَغَ أَشُدَّهُ أي بَلَغَ مُوسَى نِهَايَةَ الْقُوَّةِ وَتَمَامَ الْعَقْلِ. When Musa alayhi salam reached the age of full strength and full intellect, full intelligence, right? Now what age is that exactly? Can differ from person to person and place to place and time to time. So that is why some of the mufassirun, they say, it would have been more appropriate to interpret it here as being when he reached the age of full strength and intellect. Yani his youth came to an end. He was no longer a youth, he was no longer a teen or adolescent, he had now become a young man. And the reason for that is that we learn from other riwayat, from other narrations, that Musa alayhi salam remained in Egypt for about 30 years, till the age of 30. And then he went to Madian. Right? He went to Madian and he stayed in Madian for most likely 10 years. And then he came back. So on his way back to Egypt from Madian, he was around the age of 40, and that is when he was selected and chosen as a prophet and messenger by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So here Imam al-Mahalli says, وَلَمَّا بَلَغَ أَشُدَّهُ. And when he reached full strength, وَهُوَ ثَلَاثُونَ سَنَةً أَوْ وَثَلَاثٌ. And that is when he reached the age of 30 or 33. According to Imam al-Mahalli rahimahullah. وَاسْتَوَى. And maturity. بَلَغَ أَرْبَعِينَ سَنَةً. And here Imam al-Mahalli says he reached the age of 40. And again, that's according to his interpretation. آتَيْنَاهُ حُكْمًا حِكْمَةً. We gave him wisdom, وَعِلْمًا, and knowledge, فِقْهًا فِي الدِّينِ, understanding of religion, قَبْلَ أَنْ يُبْعَثَ نَبِيًّا, before being sent as a prophet. وَكَذَلِكَ كَمَا جَزَيْنَاهُ. And similarly, just as we rewarded Musa alayhi salam, نَجْزِي الْمُحْسِنِينَ لِأَنفُسِهِمْ. We reward those who do good for themselves by obeying Allah and believing in Him and engaging in righteous deeds. Now we are told about an episode where Musa alayhi salam accidentally kills an individual. And this was a total accident. This was unintentional. It was involuntary. وَدَخَلَ الْمَدِينَةَ عَلَى حِينِ غَفْلَةٍ مِّنْ أَهْلِهَا. One day he entered the city unnoticed by its people. فَوَجَدَ فِيهَا رَجُلَيْنِ يَقْتَتِلَانِ. And there he found two men fighting. هَذَا مِنْ شِيعَتِي. This person was from his own people. وَهَذَا مِنْ عَدُوِّ. And the other was among his enemies. فَاسْتَغَاثَهُ الَّذِي مِنْ شِيعَتِهِ عَلَى الَّذِي مِنْ عَدُوِّ. So the man from his people called to him for help against his enemy. فَوَكَزَهُ مُوسَى فَقَضَى عَلَيْهِ. So Musa struck him. Musa literally punched him, alayhi salam, فَقَضَى عَلَيْهِ, and killed him. قَالَ هَذَا مِنْ عَمَلِ الشَّيْطَانِ. And then he said, this is from the Satan's work. This is the work of Satan. إِنَّهُ عَدُوٌّ مُضِلٌّ مُبِينٌ. He is certainly a sworn, misleading enemy. So وَدَخَلَ الْمَدِينَةِ. And وَدَخَلَ مُوسَى عَلَيْهِ السَّلَامِ الْمَدِينَةِ. One day, Musa alayhi salam entered the city. Now here Imam al-Mahalli identifies which city is being referred to. He says, Madinata Fir'aun. The city of Fir'aun, where Fir'aun resided and lived, where his palace was. وَهِيَ مَنْفُ. And it's mentioned as the city of Manf. بعد أن غاب عنه مدة. Right after he had been absent from it for a period of time. And he became an adult, he moved out, he moved on. He was no longer living in the palace of Fir'aun, but he still enjoyed the privileges of being from the household of Fir'aun and being his technically adopted son. Now he's returned to the city, right? على حين غفلة من أهلها, unnoticed by its people. At a time of heedlessness of his people, meaning when he would not be noticed. وقت القيلولة, at the time of their afternoon nap, at the time of their siesta. فوجد فيها رجلين يقتتلان, and there he found two men fighting each other. هذا من شيعتي. This, yani one person, was from his own people. أي إسرائيلي. One of the men that was fighting was an Israeli, was from the children of Israel. وهذا من عدوي. And the other was from his enemies. أي قبطي, was amongst the Coptics, the native Egyptians. يسخر الإسرائيلي. And this person was mocking, ridiculing, making fun of the Israeli, the person from the children of Israel. And ليحمل حطبا إلى مطبخ فرعون. And he was trying to force him to carry firewood to the kitchen of Fir'aun. According to some riwayat, this Coptic individual was Fir'aun's cook. And being from the entourage of Fir'aun, he had this arrogance and pride. And the people of Banu Israel were subjugated and enslaved. So he was making fun of this person, mocking him, ridiculing him, and was trying to force him to carry this heavy load of firewood to Fir'aun's kitchen. فَاسْتَغَاثَهُ الَّذِي مِنْ شِيعَتِهِ عَلَى الَّذِي مِنْ عَدُوِّهِ. So the one from his own people cried out to him, meaning to Musa alayhi salam, for help against the one from his enemy. فَقَالَ لَهُ مُوسَى. So Musa alayhi salam came to his help, came to his assistance and says, خَلِّ سَبِيلَهُ, let him go. Right? Let this Israeli go. فَقِيلْ إِنَّهُ قَالَ لِمُوسَى. So it is said that that person then said to Musa alayhi salam, لَقَدْ هَمَمْتُ أَنْ أَحْمِلَهُ عَلَيْكَ. Okay, if this person isn't going to carry the firewood to the kitchen, then I'm going to make you do it. قِيل, this is according to some riwayat, some traditions. Allah knows if they're correct or not. فَوَكَزَهُ مُوسَى. But what we do know is some conversation took place, and Musa alayhi salam came to the help and aid and assistance and support of the Israeli, and he punched the Coptic. فَوَكَزَهُ مُوسَى, أي ضَرَبَهُ. He struck him بِجُمْعِ كَفِّهِ, with a closed fist. He punched him. وَكَانَ شَدِيدَ الْقُوَّةِ وَالْبَطْشِ. And Musa alayhi salam was extremely strong and powerful. فَقَضَى عَلَيْهِ. And he killed him. أي قَتَلَهُ. And again, this was accidental, this was unintentional, this was involuntary. وَلَمْ يَكُنْ قَصَدَ قَتْلَهُ. He didn't intend to kill him. His intention was pure, sincere, to help the Israeli, to repel the harm of this Coptic person. But he punched him so hard, accidentally causing that person to die. وَدَفَنَهُ فِي الرَّمْلِ. And according to some traditions and riwayat, then he buried him in the dirt. قال رحمه الله قال هذا أي قتله من عمل الشيطان المهيج غضبي إنه عدو لابن آدم مضل له مبين بين الإضلال قال نادما رب إني ظلمت نفسي بقتله فاغفر لي فغفر له إنه هو الغفور الرحيم أي المتصف بهما أزلا وأبدا قال رب بما أنعمت بحق إنعامك علي بالمغفرة اعصمني فلن أكون ظهيرا عونا للمجرمين الكافرين بعد هذا إن عصمتني. So here, right, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says and is telling us how Musa alayhi salam reacted. That he became the direct cause of someone's death, an accidental murder. So he says, هذا من عمل الشيطان. This is Satan's work. إنه عدو. Clearly, or he is certainly a sworn, misleading enemy. مضل, misleading, مبين, open. عدو, enemy. So قال هذا, meaning Musa alayhi salam said this, أي قتله. That killing this Coptic man, من عمل الشيطان, is from the work of shaitan. المهيج غضبي, who incited my anger. Right? Who incited my anger. إنه عدو لابن آدم. Surely he is an enemy for the son of Adam, yani for mankind. مضل له, misguiding him. مبين, clearly. يعني بين الإضلال, his misguidance is open and clear. So he is certainly a sworn, misleading enemy. Or clearly, he is a misleading enemy. قال رب إني ظلمت نفسي فاغفر لي فغفر له. He said, "O my Lord, I have wronged myself, so forgive me." So he forgave him. إنه هو الغفور الرحيم. For indeed he is the most forgiving, the all-merciful. Right. قال نادما. Musa alayhi salam said, full of regret and remorse and sorrow, ربي, O my Lord, إني ظلمت نفسي بقتله. I have certainly wronged myself by killing him. فاغفر لي, so forgive me. فغفر له. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala forgave him. إنه هو الغفور الرحيم. For truly Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the most forgiving, or the all forgiving, the all merciful. A al-muttasif bihima. That Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has these attributes azalan, since forever, from eternity, abadan, and will always have them. And these are divine attributes of Allah. Allah is al-Ghafur and He is al-Rahim. قال ربي بما أنعمت علي فلن أكون ظهيرا للمجرمين. Then Musa alayhi salam said, "My Lord, for all your favors upon me, I will never support those who do evil." So قال, and again Musa alayhi salam said, "Rabbi, O my Lord, بما أنعمت علي." Because of the blessings you have bestowed upon me. يعني بحق إنعامك. Right? By the right of the blessings that you have bestowed upon me. بالمغفرة اعصمني. يعني through forgiveness, اعصمني, protect me and save me. فلن أكون ظهيرا. I will never be عونا. I will never be support للمجرمين, for those who are wicked. الكافرين بعد هذا, and I will never support the non-believers after this. إن عصمتني, if you protect me and safeguard me. And he's making dua that because of the blessings you have bestowed upon me, I will never support those who are evil, who are wicked, al-mujrimun, the criminals. And here Imam al-Mahdi says it means the non-believers. قال رحمه الله فأصبح في المدينة خائفا يترقب ينتظر ما يناله من جهة القتيل فإذا الذي استنصره بالأمس يستصرخه يستغيث به على قبطي آخر قال له موسى إنك لغوي مبين بين الغواية لما فعلته أمس واليوم فلما أن زائدة أراد أن يبطش بالذي هو عدو لهما لموسى والمستغيث به قال المستغيث ظانا أنه يبطش به لما قال له إنك لغوي مبين يا موسى أتريد أن تقتلني كما قتلت نفسا بالأمس إن ما تريد إلا أن تكون جبارا في الأرض وما تريد أن تكون من المصلحين فسمع القبطي ذلك فعلم أن القاتل موسى فانطلق إلى فرعون فأخبره بذلك فأمر فرعون الذباحين بقتل موسى فأخذوا في الطريق إليه. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala then tells us what happens next. فأصبح في المدينة خائفا يترقب. And Musa alayhi salam became fearful, watching out in the city. He became vigilant. فَإِذَا الَّذِي اسْتَنْصَرَهُ بِالْأَمْسِ يَسْتَصْرِخُ. When suddenly the man he had helped the day before cried out to him for help again. The one who sought his help the day before cried out to him again for help. قَالَ لَهُ مُوسَى إِنَّكَ لَغَوِيٌّ مُبِينٌ. So Musa alayhi salam said to him, you are clearly a troublemaker. You like to create trouble and you like to cause trouble. فَأَصْبَحَ فِي الْمَدِينَةِ خَائِفًا. Right. Musa alayhi salam became fearful in the city, يَتَرَقَّبُ, and vigilant. Right. Very cautious, careful, and vigilant, and watching out. يَنْتَظِرُ مَا يَنَالُهُ مِنْ جِهَةِ الْقَتِيلِ. Right. Waiting to see what's going to happen to him, right, from the side of the victim. Right. He became vigilant that, you know what? People are going to find out that he was killed. They're going to come looking for it, and they might find out it was me. So he was very vigilant. He was cautious and careful, and there was a sense of fear that I may be arrested and persecuted, etc. فَإِذَا الَّذِي اسْتَنْصَرَهُ بِالْأَمْسِ. Right, then all of a sudden, the one who sought his help the day before, يَسْتَصْرِخُ, is calling out to him again for help. يَسْتَغِيثُ بِهِ. Right, is seeking help from him again, عَلَى قِبْطِيٍّ آخَرٍ, against another Coptic. قَالَ لَهُ مُوسَى. So Musa alayhi salam recognized that, you know what? This Israeli is the source of the problem. He is the source of the trouble. He's a mischief maker. إِنَّكَ لَغَوِيٌّ مُبِينٌ. You are clearly a troublemaker. بَيِّنُ الْغَوَايَةِ. Your mischief and trouble is clear. لِمَا فَعَلْتَهُ أَمْسِ وَالْيَوْمِ. Because of what you did yesterday and today. It's clear that you are the source of all of this trouble. فَلَمَّا أَنْ أَرَادَ أَنْ يَبْطِشَ بِالَّذِي هُوَ عَدُوٌّ لَهُمَا. Then when Musa alayhi salam was about to lay his hands on their enemy, قَالَ يَا مُوسَى. That person said, O Musa, أَتُرِيدُ أَن تَقْتُلَنِي كَمَا قَتَلْتَ نَفْسًا بِالْأَمْسِ. Do you intend to kill me just like you killed that person yesterday? إِن تُرِيدُ إِلَّا أَن تَكُونَ جَبَّارًا فِي الْأَرْضِ. You only want to be a tyrant in the land. وَمَا تُرِيدُ أَن تَكُونَ مِنَ الْمُصْلِحِينَ. You do not want to be among those who makes things right, who fixes things and rectifies things. So فَلَمَّا أَن. Now here Imam al-Mahalli says, grammatically speaking, this an here is za'ida. It is extra, it's additional. But again, it might be grammatically extra, but in terms of meaning, it conveys certain meanings. فَلَمَّا أَن أَرَادَ أَن يَبْطِشَ بِالَّذِي هُوَ عَدُوٌّ لَهُمَا. And when Musa alayhi salam was about to seize, was about to strike their enemy, yani the enemy of Musa, وَالْمُسْتَغِيث بِهِ. Yani again, the other Coptic. Right? Musa alayhi salam was still going to help the person, according to one interpretation. This is one interpretation, that Musa alayhi salam was like, you know what, I'll still help this person. قَالَ الْمُسْتَغِيثُ. Right, the one he was about to help, the Israeli, right, the same individual that he helped yesterday, the same person said, ظَانًا, thinking, أَنَّهُ يَبْتِشُ بِهِ, thinking that Musa was going to reprimand him and strike him. لِمَا قَالَ لَهُ, because Musa said, إِنَّكَ لَغَوِيٌّ مُبِينٌ. Because Musa alayhi salam reprimanded this person. He scolded him. He said, look, you are clearly the source of trouble. You are clearly a troublemaker. So this person, when Musa alayhi salam was about to then, help him, he thought that Musa alayhi salam was going to strike him and stop him. So he cried out and says, Ya Musa, that O Musa alayhi salam, أَتُرِيدُ أَن تَقْتُلَنِي كَمَا قَتَلْتَ نَفْسًا بِالْأَمْسِ. Do you want to kill me just like you killed that person yesterday? In مَا تُرِيد. Right? You do not intend anything except to be a tyrant on this earth. وَمَا تُرِيدُ أَن تَكُونَ مِنَ الْمُصْلِحِينَ. And you don't want to be among those who makes things right, who makes peace. Right? So he said that to save himself because he was a coward and he was a troublemaker, he was a mischief maker. But when he said that, he exposed And he revealed the fact that Musa alayhi salam had accidentally killed that Coptic person yesterday. فَسَمِعَ الْقِبْطِيُّ ذَلِكَ. So the Coptic person heard this. فَعَلِمَ أَنَّ الْقَاتِلَ مُوسَى. And he learned that Musa alayhi salam was the killer. فَانْطَلَقَ إِلَى فِرْعَوْنَ فَأَخْبَرَهُ بِذَلِكَ. So he went to Fir'aun and told him that. فَأَمَرَ فِرْعَوْنُ الذَّبَّاحِينَ بِقَتْلِ مُوسَى. And then Fir'aun told his executioners to kill Musa alayhi salam. فَأَخَذُوا فِي الطَّرِيقِ إِلَيْهِ. So they started looking for him and they started searching for him. قال رحمه الله: وجاء رجل هو مؤمن آل فرعون من أقصى المدينة آخرها يسعى يسرع في مشيه من طريق أقرب من طريقهم. قال يا موسى إن الملأ من قوم فرعون يأتمرون بك يتشاورون فيك ليقتلوك فاخرج من المدينة إني لك من الناصحين في الأمر بالخروج. فخرج منها خائفا يترقب لحوق طالب أو غوث الله إياه. قال رب نجني من القوم الظالمين قوم فرعون. وجاء رجل من أقصى المدينة يسعى. And a man came rushing from the furthest part of the city. A man came quickly rushing from the furthest part of the city. قال يا موسى, he said, O Musa alayhi salam, إن الملأ يأتمرون بك ليقتلوك. The chiefs are conspiring against you to kill you. Right? The authorities are talking about killing you. فَخْرُجْ. So leave. إِنِّي لَكَ مِنَ النَّاصِحِينَ. This is my sincere advice to you. So وَجَاءَ رَجُلٌ مِنْ أَقْصَى الْمَدِينَةِ يَسْعَى. A man came running from the furthest part of the city. Who was this man? Imam al-Mahalli rahimahullah identifies him as هُوَ مُؤْمِنُ آلِ فِرْعَوْنَ. He is the believer from the household of Fir'aun, who is highlighted and mentioned in another surah, in Surah Mu'min. Right, there was a person, مُؤْمِنُ آلِ فِرْعَوْنَ يَكْتُمُ إِيمَانَهُ, who was concealing his belief and concealing his faith. He was a believer. So this person was concerned for Musa alayhi salam. And he came from Aqsa al-Madinah, from the furthest part of the city, آخِرِهَا, right, from the furthest part of the city, يَسْعَى. He came rushing. يُسْرِعُ فِي مَشْيِهِ. He was walking fast. مِنْ طَرِيقٍ أَقْرَبْ مِنْ طَرِيقِهِمْ. And he took a path that was closer than the path of the executioners. So he could reach Musa alayhi salam first. قَالَ يَا مُوسَى. And when he got to Musa alayhi salam, he said, O Musa, إِنَّ الْمَلَأَ. Right, the chiefs, the advisors, the ministers of Fir'aun, right, مِنْ قَوْمِ فِرْعَوْنَ يَأْتَمِرُونَ بِكَ. They're discussing you. They're talking about you. يَتَشَاوَرُونَ فِيكَ. They're consulting each other regarding you. لِيَقْتُلُوكَ. To put you to death. فَخْرُجْ مِنَ الْمَدِينَةِ. So leave the city. إِنِّي لَكَ مِنَ النَّاصِحِينَ. I truly am for you among those who give sincere advice. Meaning, this is my sincere advice to you. You need to leave right now. If you don't leave, they're going to put you to death. Right? فِي الْأَمْرِ بِالْخُرُوجِ. I am giving you this sincere advice to leave. فَخَرَجَ مِنْهَا خَائِفًا يَتَرَقَّبُ. So Musa alayhi salam left the city in a state of fear and caution. قَالَ رَبِّ نَجِّنِي مِنَ الْقَوْمِ الظَّالِمِينَ. And he said, my Lord, save me from the wrongdoing people. So فَخَرَجَ مِنْهَا. Musa alayhi salam took the advice of مُؤْمِنُ آلِ فِرْعَوْنَ. He took the advice of this man. And he left the city خَائِفًا, in a state of fear. يَتَرَقَّبُ, again being watchful and vigilant. And he was being watchful and vigilant لُحُوقَ طَالِبٍ, right, so that no seeker will catch up to him. Yani anyone that's looking for him, they might catch up to him. أو غوث الله إياه, or he was watchful and vigilant for the help and assistance of Allah. قال ربي, and he supplicated that, O my Lord, نجني من القوم الظالمين, save me, deliver me from the wrongdoing people, the people of Fir'aun. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. ولما توجه تلقاء مدين قال عسى ربي أن يهديني سواء السبيل ولما ورد ماء مدين وجد عليه أمة من الناس يسقون ووجد من دونهم امرأتين تذودان قال ما خطبكما قالتا لا نسقي حتى يصدر الرعاء وأبونا شيخ كبير فسقى لهما ثم تولى إلى الظل فقال رب إني لما أنزلت إلي من خير فقير فجاءته إحداهما تمشي على استحياء قالت إن أبي يدعوك ليجزيك أجر ما سقيت لنا فلما جاءه وقص عليه القصص قال لا تخف نجوت من القوم الظالمين قالت إحداهما يا أبت استأجره إن خير من استأجرت القوي الأمين قال إني أريد أن أنكحك إحدى ابنتي هاتين على أن تأجرني 8 حجج فإن أتممت 10 فمن عندك وما أريد أن أشق عليك ستجدني إن شاء الله من الصالحين قال ذلك بيني وبينك أيما الأجلين قضيت فلا عدوان علي والله على ما نقول وكيل قال رحمه الله ولما توجه قصد بوجهه تلقاء مدين جهتها وهي قرية شعيب عليه السلام مسيرة 8 أيام من مصر سميت بمدين ابن إبراهيم ولم يكن يعرف طريقها قال عسى ربي أن يهديني سواء السبيل أي قصد الطريق أي الطريق الوسط إليها فأرسل الله إليه ملكا بيده عنزة فانطلق به إليها ولما ورد ماء مدين بئر فيها أي وصل إليها وجد عليه أمة جماعة من الناس يسقون مواشيهم ووجد من دونهم أي سواهم امرأتين تذودان تمنعان أغنامهما عن الماء قال موسى عليه السلام لهما ما خطبكما أي ما شأنكما لا تسقيان قالتا لا نسقي حتى يصدر الرعاء جمع راع أي يرجع من سقيهم خوف الزحام فنسقي وفي قراءة يصدر من الرباع أي يصرف مواشيهم عن الماء وأبونا شيخ كبير لا يقدر أن يسقيا فسقى لهما من بئر أخرى بقربهما رفع حجرا عنها لا يرفعه إلا 10 أنفس ثم تولى انصرف إلى الظل لسمرة من شدة حر الشمس وهو جائع فقال رب إني لما أنزلت إلي من خير طعام فقير محتاج. Here Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala now tells us where he's heading. He has escaped from the city. He has escaped from the soldiers and executioners of Fir'aun. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala then tells us that he headed towards Madian. وَلَمَّا تَوَجَّهَ تِلْقَاءَ مَدْيَنَ And as he made his way towards Madian, قَالَ عَسَى رَبِّي أَن يَهْدِيَنِي سَوَاءَ السَّبِيلِ He said, may my Lord guide me to the right way. So وَلَمَّا تَوَجَّهَ When he turned تِلْقَاءَ مَدْيَنَ towards Madian, قَصَدَ بِوَجْهِهِ Yani he intended with his face to go towards Madian, جِهَتَهَا, meaning the direction of it. So he's explaining it in a certain way. What it basically means is, and when he turned his face towards Madian, when he started traveling towards Madian. And what is Madian? وَهِيَ قَرْيَةُ شُعَيْبٍ It is the city of Shu'aib alayhi salam. مَسِيرَةَ 8 أَيَّامٍ مِّن مِصْرَ It was a distance of an 8-day journey from Egypt. Right? The distance between Misr and Madian was a journey of 8 days. سُمِّيَتْ بِمَدْيَنِ ibn Ibrahim. And it was named after Madyan ibn Ibrahim. Right? And that's why it's غير منصرف, because of Alamiya, and it's the name of a place. So it is غير منصرف. So when he headed towards Madyan, وَلَمْ يَكُنْ يَعْرِفُ طَرِيقَهَا, and he didn't know the way, he didn't know the proper way to get to Madyan, قال, he said, عَسَى رَبِّي أَن يَهْدِيَنِي سَوَاءَ السَّبِيلِ, perhaps my Lord will guide me and direct me towards the right way. أي قصد الطريق, he will show me the correct path to Madyan. أي الطريق الوسط إليها, and the middle path towards it. And the reason why Imam al-Mahalli is saying this is because according to some riwayat, there were 3 ways to get to Madyan from Egypt. And 2 of them were long, and the middle one was the quickest and shortest. فَأَرْسَلَ اللَّهُ إِلَيْهِ مَلَكًا, so Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent an angel to him, بِيَدِهِ عَنَزَةٌ, with a small spear in his hand, فَانْطَلَقَ بِهِ إِلَيْهَا, and this angel took Musa alayhi salam to Madyan. Yuqal, and this is based off of a particular riwayah. Perhaps it's authentic, perhaps it's not. That detail is not mentioned in the Quran. But eventually he ended up in Madyan. And the reason why he ended up there is because he made this sincere dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala guide me to the correct way. وَلَمَّا وَرَدَ مَاءَ مَدْيَنَ وَجَدَ عَلَيْهِ أُمَّةً مِّنَ النَّاسِ يَسْقُونَ. And when he arrived at the well of Madyan, he found a group of people watering their animals, watering their herds, their flocks. وَوَجَدَ مِن دُونِهِمْ امْرَأَتَيْنِ تَذُودَانِ. And apart from them, he noticed or he saw 2 women holding back their animals. قَالَ مَا خَطْبُكُمَا. So he asked them, what's wrong with both of you? Right? What's the matter with both of you? قالتا لا نسقي حتى يصدر الرعاء وأبونا شيخ كبير. They replied, we cannot water our animals until the other shepherds are done. Until the shepherds take their sheep away, and our father is a very old man, so we have to do this for him. Alright, so he says here, Imam al-Mahalli rahimahullah, وَلَمَّا وَرَدَ مَاءَ مَدْيَنَ. And when he reached the well of Madyan. The literal translation is when he reached the water of Madyan, bi'run fiha, which is referring to a well in Madyan. So when he reached the well of Madyan, wasala ilayha, when he got there, وَجَدَ عَلَيْهِ أُمَّةً جَمَاعَةً مِّنَ النَّاسِ يَسْقُونَ مَوَاشِيَهُمْ. He found a group of people watering their animals, their herds of sheep and goat, whatever. Right? They were taking water out of the well and giving it to their animals to drink. وَوَجَدَ مِن دُونِهِمْ أَيْ سِوَاهُمْ إِمْرَأَتَيْنِ تَذُودَانِ. And apart from them, yani away from them, he found 2 women, right? تَذُودَانِ, pushing back their animals or holding back their animals. تَمْنَعَانِ أَغْدَامَهُمَا مِنَ الْمَاءِ عَنِ الْمَاءِ, right? Stopping their animals, stopping their sheep from the water. قَالَ مُوسَى عَلَيْهِ السَّلَامُ لَهُمَا. So Musa alayhi salam said to them, مَا خَطْبُكُمَا. What's up with both of you? What's the matter with both of you? Why aren't you watering your sheep along with everyone else? أَيْ مَا شَأْنُكُمَا لَا تَسْقِيَانِ. And what's the matter with you that you're not watering your sheep? قَالَتَا لَا نَسْقِي حَتَّى يَصْدُرَ الرِّعَاءُ. That we do not water our sheep until the shepherds leave. Right? Until the other shepherds leave. And he says the word ri'a'u is the plural of the word ra'in, which means shepherd, يَرُجِعُ مِن سَقِيهِمْ. Until they return from their watering, we don't water our animals. خَوْفَ الزِّحَامِ. Out of fear of the I don't want to say traffic, the word just slipped my mind, but out of fear of being congestion, out of fear of the congestion there around the well. فَنَسْقِي. So after they're done, then we water our sheep. وَفِي قِرَاءَةٍ. In another qira'ah, instead of the verb صَدَرَ يَصْدُرُ, which is from verb form number 1, it's أَصْدَرَ يُصْدِرُ, from verb form number 4, which is the qira'ah we are more familiar with. Min al-ruba'i, meaning it's not really a ruba'i verb, but it has 4 letters, right? The 3 original root letters and the additional hamza. Min bab al-if'al, right? A yasrifu mawashiyahum anil ma. They said, we do not water our sheep until the other shepherds take their animals away. Right? وَأَبُونَا شَيْخٌ كَبِيرٌ. And on top of that, they're explaining the reason why they're doing this themselves is because our father is a very old man. لَا يَقْدِرُ أَنْ يَسْقِيَ. He is unable to water the animals himself. فَسَقَى لَهُمَا. So he watered their herd for them. He watered their flock of sheep for them. ثُمَّ تَوَلَّى إِلَى الظِّلِّ. And then he withdrew into the shade. فَقَالَ رَبِّ إِنِّي لِمَا أَنزَلْتَ إِلَيَّ مِنْ خَيْرٍ فَقِيرٌ. And he said, my Lord, I am in dire need of whatever good you may send me. So Musa alayhi salam is a man of chivalry. He's a real man, that he sees these 2 young women who need help and assistance, and his chivalry, his muru'ah, his etiquettes, compel him to go and help them and assist them. So he says here, Imam al-Mahalli, فَسَقَى لَهُمَا. He watered their sheep for them. مِن بِئْرٍ أُخْرَى. And according to Imam al-Mahalli, from another well, بِقُرْبِهِمَا, that was close to them. رَفَعَ حَجَرًا عَنْهَا. He removed a rock or a stone or a boulder from that well. لَا يَرْفَعُهُ إِلَّا عَشْرَةُ أَنفُسٍ. That could not be lifted except by 10 people. And there was another well close by, but it was covered, right? The mouth of the well was covered by some large rock or boulder. It was difficult to remove that rock, but Musa alayhi salam went and he moved it. And highlighting how heavy and large that rock was, is that under normal circumstances only 10 people would be able to do so. But Musa alayhi salam was able to remove that rock, highlighting his strength and his power. Right? So then he continues, ثُمَّ تَوَلَّى. And then he went away, right? After doing them this favor, out of his muru'ah, out of his chivalry and kindness. ثُمَّ تَوَلَّى انصَرَفَ إِلَى الظِّلِّ. Then he withdrew to the shade. He went to some shade, يعني لِسَمُرَةٍ, under a samura tree. مِنْ شِدَّةِ حَرِّ الشَّمْسِ, from the severe heat of the sun. وَهُوَ جَائِعٌ, and he was hungry. Remember, he's traveled all the way from Misr to Madian without preparation, without food, drink, provisions, no animals, nothing. He had fled from Egypt. So now he's hungry, he's tired, he's exhausted. He's just helped these 2 people out, and now he's like totally wasted, totally tired. And in this state of need and exhaustion, he says, Rabbi, that, oh my Lord, inni lima anzalta ilayya min khayrin faqirun. I am in dire need of whatever good you may send my way. I am in need of any good that you will give to me right now. فَقَالَ رَبِّي إِنِّي لِمَا أَنزَلْتَ مِنْ خَيْرٍ. And here khair, Imam al-Mahalli says it means ta'am. It means food, because he was hungry. فَقِيرٌ مُحْتَاج. I'm in need. I am in dire need of whatever good you may send down to me. قال رحمه الله فرجعتا إلى أبيهما في زمن أقل مما كانتا ترجعان فيه فسألهما عن ذلك فسألهما عن ذلك فأخبرتاه بمن سقى لهما فقال لإحداهما أدعيه لي. قال تعالى فجاءته إحداهما تمشي على استحياء أي واضعة كم درعها على وجهها حياء منه. قالت إن أبي يدعوك ليجزيك أجر ما سقيت لنا. فأجابها منكرا في نفسه أخذ الأجرة وكأنها قصدت المكافأة إن كان ممن يريدها. فمشت بين يديه فجعلت الريح تضرب ثوبها فتكشف ساقها فقال لها امشي خلفي ودليني على الطريق ففعلت إلى أن جاء أباها وهو شعيب عليه الصلاة والسلام وعنده عشاء قال له اجلس فتعشى قال إني أخاف أن يكون عوضا مما سقيت لهما وإنا أهل بيت لا نطلب على عمل خير عوضا قال لا عادتي وعادة آبائي نقري الضيف ونطعم الطعام فأكل وأخبره بحاله قال تعالى فلما جاءه وقص عليه القصص مصدر بمعنى المقصوص من قتله القبطية وقصدهم قتله وخوفه من فرعون قال لا تخف نجوت من القوم الظالمين إذ لا سلطان لفرعون على مدين. Here, Imam al-Mahalli gives us some background now. That, Musa alayhi salam did these two young women this huge favor, and then he went and sat down underneath the shade, making dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He's exhausted, he's tired. فَرَجَعَتَا إِلَىٰ أَبِيهِمَا. In the meanwhile, both of these young women returned to their father in a time that was less than what they normally would do. Right? في زمن, in a time, أقل مما كانتا ترجعان فيه. In a time that was less than what they used to return in. Meaning something different happened. فسألهما عن ذلك. So their father asked them about it. Why have you come back earlier today? You came back earlier than you normally do. What's going on? فأخبرتاه بمن سقى لهما. So they informed him regarding the person or the one who watered their animals for them. فقال لإحداهما. So Shu'aib alayhi salam said to one of his two daughters that أدعيه لي. Go and call him for me. Go and bring him. قال تعالى. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions that. فجاءته إحداهما تمشي على استحياء. Then one of the two women came to him walking with haya, with the utmost modesty and humility. قالت إن أبي يدعوك ليجزيك أجر ما سقيت لنا. And she said, my father is inviting you so that he may reward you for watering our animals for us. فلما جاءه وقص عليه القصص قال لا تخف نجوت من القوم الظالمين. And when Musa alayhi salam came to him and told him his whole story, he said, have no fear, you are now safe from the wrongdoing people. فجاءته إحداهما تمشي على استحياء. So one of them came to him walking modestly. Yani walking bashfully, walking shyly, walking with haya. واضعة. Now here Imam al-Mahalli is describing her haya. He's describing what this means. واضعة كم درعها على وجهها. That she had placed the sleeve of her upper garment over her face, حياء منه, right, out of shyness or modesty in front of him. And whatever, this is one explanation, but she came in a manner that showed her haya, that she was a woman of haya and modesty and chastity. قالت, and she told Musa alayhi salam, إن أبي يدعوك, that my father is asking for you. He's calling for you. He's inviting you. ليجزيك أجر ما سقيت لنا, to give you the reward for watering our animals for us. He wants to reward you for watering our animals for us. فأجابها. So Musa alayhi salam accepted this invitation and responded to her. But منكرا في نفسه أخذ الأجرة. But in his heart, right, internally, he did not like taking a reward for that. Meaning that he would go to meet their father, and some of the riwayat say, to get the barakah of meeting an elderly person, but he would not take any reward for what he did. وَكَأَنَّهَا قَصَدَتِ الْمُكَافَأَةَ إِنْ كَانَ مِمَّنْ يُرِيدُهَا. And it's as if she intended al-mukafa, right? Recompensing and repaying if he was among those who actually wanted it. إن كان ممن يريدها, if he was among the people that actually wanted a reward for it. فمشت بين يديه. So she walked in front of him, right? Leading him towards her or taking him towards her father. فجعلت الريح تضرب ثوبها. But then the wind started, caused her garments to like move and rustle. فَتَكْشِفْ سَاقَهَا. And because of that, her lower leg was exposed. فَقَالَ لَهَا. So Musa alayhi salam again was a man of chivalry and modesty and piety and chastity. So he says, إِمْشِ خَلْفِي. That, walk behind me. وَدُلِّينِي عَلَى الطَّرِيقِ. And direct me on the path. Walk behind me. فَفَعَلَتْ. So she did so إِلَىٰ أَنْ جَاءَ أَبَاهَا. Until she came to her father. وَهُوَ شَعَيْبٌ عَلَيْهِ الصَّلَاةُ وَالسَّلَامُ. And her father, the Shaykh Kabir, turned out to be the Prophet Shu'aib alayhi salatu wasalam. وَعِنْدَهُ عَشَاءٌ. And he had dinner with him. قَالَ لَهُ. So he said to Musa alayhi salam, اجلس فتعشى. Sit and have dinner. قال. Musa alayhi salam said, إِنِّي أَخَافُ أَنْ يَكُونَ عِوَضًا مِمَّا سَقَيْتُ لَهُمَا. I fear that this dinner is going to be a reward, or is a type of reward, is a type of payment for me watering their animals. وَإِنَّا أَهْلُ بَيْتٍ. And I am from the people of Ahlul Bayt, and from a noble family. لَا نَطْلُبُ عَلَى عَمِلِ خَيْرٍ عِوَضًا. We don't seek any sort of reward or repayment for doing good things. قَالَ لَا. Shu'aib alayhi salatu wasalam told him, no, this is not a reward. عَادَتِي وَعَادَةُ آبَائِ. This is my custom and the custom of my forefathers. This is our custom, this is our culture. نَقْرِ الضَّيْفِ. We host guests. وَنُطْعِمُ الطَّعَامِ. And we feed people food. فَأَكَلَ. So he ate. وَأَخْبَرَهُ بِحَالِهِ. And he told him about his circumstances. قَالَ تَعَالَى. And that's what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us then. قَصَّ عَلَيْهِ الْقَصَصِ. فَلَمَّا جَاءَهُ وَقَصَّ عَلَيْهِ الْقَصَصِ. So when he came to him, when Musa alayhi salam came to him and told him his whole story. He says the word al-Qasas here is masdarun. It is a verbal noun, but it gives the meaning of al-maqsus. It gives the meaning of the ism al-maf'ul, the passive participle. Right? Min qatlihi al-qibti. And what did he tell him? He told him the whole story, the whole background of why he is coming to Madian. That, I killed this Coptic person accidentally, and now they want to kill me, and that I fear Fir'aun. So he says, لا تخف. Shu'aib alayhi salam tells him, don't be afraid, there's nothing to be afraid of. نَجَوْتَ مِنَ الْقَوْمِ الظَّالِمِينَ. You are now safe from the wrongdoing people, because Fir'aun has no authority over Madian. Madian's not under his sovereignty, it's not under his control, so you are safe and secure here with me. قال رحمه الله. قالت إحداهما وهي المرسلة والكبرى أو الصغرى يا أبت استأجر اتخذه أجيرا يرعى غنمنا أي بدلنا إن خير من استأجرت القوي الأمين أي استأجره لقوته وأمانته. فسألها عنهما فأخبرته بما تقدم من رفعه حجر البئر ومن قوله لها امشي خلفي، وزيادة أنها لما جاءته وعلم بها صوب رأسه فلم يرفعه فرغب في إنكاحه فقال إني أريد أن أنكحك إحدى ابنتي هاتين وهي الكبرى أو الصغرى على أن تأجرني تكون أجيرا لي في رعي غنمي 8 حجج أي سنين فإن أتممت 10 أي رعي 10 سنين فمن عندك التمام وما أريد أن أشق عليك باشتراط 10 ستجدني إن شاء الله للتبرك من الصالحين الوافين بالعهد. قال موسى عليه السلام ذلك الذي قلته بيني وبينك أيما الأجلين 8 أو 10 وما زائدة أي رعيه قضيت به أي فرغت منه فلا عدوان عليه بطلب الزيادة عليه والله على ما نقول أنا وأنت وكيل حفيظ أو شهيد. فتم العقد بذلك وأمر شعيب عليه السلام ابنته أن تعطي موسى عليه السلام عصا يدفع بها السباع عن غنمه وكانت عصي الأنبياء عنده فوقع في يدها عصا آدم من آس الجنة فأخذها موسى بعلم شعيب عليه السلام. Right, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala continues with the story and this conversation between Musa alayhi salam and Shu'aib's daughters. قالت إحداهما يا أبت استأجر. Right, one of the two daughters said that, "Oh my dear father, ya abati, oh my dear beloved father, استأجره, hire him. إن خير من استأجرت القوي الأمين. The best man for employment is definitely the strong and trustworthy one." That, "Oh my dear father, hire him. A strong, trustworthy man is the best person to hire." So قالت إحداهما. One of them said, one of the two daughters said, وهي المرسلة. And it was the one that was sent. The one that was sent to bring Musa alayhi salam. She said, and she was al-kubra or sughra. She was the elder or the younger. Possibilities. We don't know for sure. But it was the one who was sent to go bring him. Ya abati, oh my dear beloved father, ista'jirhu, hire him. Ittakhidhu ajiran. Take him as an employee. Yar'a ghanamana. So that he can herd our sheep for us. He can be the shepherd for our flock. Badalana, instead of us. Inna khayra man ista'jarta al-qawiyyu al-amin. Because the best man for employment, right? The best person you can employ, al-qawiyyu al-amin, is a person who's strong and also trustworthy. Ista'jirhu liquwwatihi wa amanatihi, meaning hire him because of his strength and his trustworthiness. فَسَأَلَهَا عَنْهُمَا. So Shu'aib alayhi salam asked her about them, like, how do you know that he's trustworthy and strong? فَأَخْبَرَتْهُ بِمَا تَقَدَّمَ. So she informed him of what happened previously. مِنْ رَفْعِهِ حَجَرَ الْبِئْرِ. Right, of him lifting that heavy stone from the well, which highlighted that he is qawi, that he is strong. وَمِنْ قَوْلِهِ لَهَا. And his statement or his saying to her, إِمْشِي خَلْفِي, that walk behind me, which highlighted his amana. وَزِيَادَةِ. And she added, أَنَّهَا لَمَّا جَاءَتْهُ. She added that when I came to him, وَعَلِمَ بِهَا. And he learned of her, صَوَّبَ رَأْسَهُ. He put his head down, فَلَمْ يَرْفَعُهُ. And he didn't raise it to look at her. فَرَغِبَ فِي إِنْكَاحِهِ. So then Shu'aib alayhi salam inclined towards marrying him to one of his two daughters. فَرَغِبَ. Right? He got this want and this desire to marry him to one of his two daughters because he is strong and trustworthy and a person of haya and chivalry. قال إني أريد أن أنكحك إحدى ابنتي هاتين. Right? He said, meaning Shu'aib alayhi salam, I want to marry one of these two daughters of mine to you. Right? إني أريد أن أنكحك إحدى ابنتي هاتين. That I would like to marry you to one of these two daughters of mine. وهي الكبرى أو الصغرى, meaning the elder or the younger. But على أن تأجرني ثمانية حجج. On the condition that you will serve me for 8 years. Right, on the condition that you will work for me as my employee for 8 years. أن تأجرني ثمانية حجج. يعني تكون أجيرني. You will be my employee. في رعي غنمي. In herding my sheep. ثمانية حجج سنين, for 8 years. فإن أتممت عشرا. But if you do it for 10 years, فمن عندك. Then that's a favor from you. If you complete 10 years, it will be of your own free will. And فإن أتممت عشرا أي رعي عشر سنين. If you continue to, work for me, you do it for 8 years, and then you do 2 more, completing 10, فَمِنْ عِنْدِكَ. And that completion of 2 extra years is your own free will. That's on you. وَمَا أُرِيدُ أَنْ أَشُقَّ عَلَيْكَ. And I don't want to make it difficult for you. Right? I don't intend to make things difficult for you. بِاشْتِرَاطِ الْعَشْرِ, by stipulating a full 10 years. سَتَجِدُنِي إِنْ شَاءَ اللَّهُ لِلتَّبَرُّكِ مِنَ الصَّالِحِينَ. Allah willing, you will find me among the righteous, that I am truthful and righteous. And he says the word insha'Allah here, لِلتَّبَرُّكِ, for the sake of blessing, invoking the blessings of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. مِنَ الصَّالِحِينَ, the righteous, يعني الْوَافِينَ بِالْعَهْدِ, I will fulfill my agreement with you, totally, completely. قَالَ ذَلِكَ بَيْنِي وَبَيْنَكَ. Musa alayhi salam said, then let that be the agreement between us. أَيَّمَا الْأَجَلَيْنِ قَضَيْتُ فَلَا عُدْوَانَ عَلَيْهِ. Whichever of the two terms I fulfill, then there will be no obligation upon me beyond that. فَلَا عُدْوَانَ عَلَيْهِ وَاللَّهُ عَلَى مَا نَقُولُ وَكِيلٌ. And Allah is a witness to what we say. Right? He says, ذَلِكَ الَّذِي قُلْتَهُ. Right? That which you just said about hiring me for 8 years, and if I do an extra 2, بَيْنِي وَبَيْنَكَ. Right? This is the agreement between you and I. أَيَّمَا الْأَجَلَيْنِ قَضَيْتُ. Whichever of the two terms I fulfill, فَلَا عُدْوَانَ عَلَيْهِ, there will be no blame upon me. يعني الثَّمَانَ أو العشرة. If I work for you for 8 years or 10 years, and he says وَمَا زَائِدَةٌ أَيْ رَعْيَهُ قَضَيْتُ بِهِ أَيْ فَرَقْتُ مِنْهُ. Whichever two I complete, فَلَا عُدْوَانَ عَلَيْهِ, and there will be no more obligation upon me by asking me to do more than that. وَاللَّهُ عَلَى مَا نَقُولُ أَنَا وَأَنْتَ وَكِيلٌ. And Allah is a witness over what we, meaning you and I, are saying. Yani hafidun, right? He's safeguarding that, and he knows that. Shahidun, a witness. فَتَمَّ الْعَقْدُ بِذَلِكَ. And with that, the contract was completed and settled. وَأَمَرَ شُعَيْبٌ عَلَيْهِ السَّلَامُ ابْنَتَهُ أَن تُعْطِيَ مُوسَى عَصًا يَدْفَعُ بِهَا السِّبَاعَ عَنْ غَنَمِهِ. And then Shu'aib alayhi salam told his daughter to give Musa alayhi salam a staff that he can use to ward off predatory animals from the sheep. وَكَانَتْ عِصِيُّ الْأَنْبِيَاءِ عِنْدَهُ. And the staffs of the prophets were with him. فَوَقَعَ فِي يَدِهَا عَصَى آدَمَ. And it just so happened that the staff she chose to give him was the staff of Adam alayhi salam, min asil jannah, and it was made from the myrtle tree of paradise. فَأَخَذَهَا مُوسَى بِعِلْمِ شُعَيْبٍ. So Musa alayhi salam took that as a staff, and Shu'aib alayhi salam knew that he had taken and was given the staff of Adam alayhi salam. And again, this is based off of certain riwayat, if it's true or not. Wallahu subhanahu wa ta'ala a'lam. So I am a little bit over time today, so we'll stop here inshallah. We have reached till the end of verse number, I believe, 28. Yes, we have reached till the end of verse number 28. So inshallah, in our next lesson, we will pick up with verse number 29. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept this small effort of ours. May He place it on our scale of good deeds on the Day of Judgment. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make this a means of increasing our understanding of the Quran and strengthening our relationship with the Quran. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala elevate us through the Quran. وصلى اللهم على نبينا ومولانا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم. جزاكم الله خيرا والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.